Something is very wrong with Simon. I don't know what it is. He's got drool coming from his mouth, pouring out of his mouth. Look at him. He's got a leaf stuck in his mouth? Oh, you're sticking your fingers in his mouth. He's trying to drown himself because he can't drink, because he can't swallow, because hubby pulled a whole bunch of leaves out of his mouth, and now it looks like there's straw in his mouth. So he keeps trying to drown himself because he's thirsty, but he can't swallow. Okay, I just got off the phone with the vet, asking her what she thinks it could be with Simon. She said she doesn't know. She's surprised though that I said that he wasn't getting any better, he's the same. But I don't know why he'd have polio. Are your eyes getting better or worse? Well, this morning, Dan found a dead raccoon in the field. We found a raccoon. He couldn't swallow. I was telling her about it was like he couldn't swallow, but I was giving him water through a syringe. And then it hit me. What if he had rabies? Good morning, lover boy. Hope you slept well. Good morning, Earl. Pee on everything. Good morning, handsome. Good morning, everybody. It was a very long night. I'm seriously sick to my stomach. Not knowing what was wrong with Simon. Afraid that he had rabies. Afraid that we're not going to find out what was wrong with him. And me, Dan, and Michael will have to get rabies shots. So last night, after I gave my update, I did my update video, I decided to call an emergency small animal vet. Because I tried calling my vet and leaving a message. So I called a emergency small animal vet and I asked them if they thought it sounded like rabies. And she told me to call the health department. So I did, and they had somebody after hours on staff, like on call. So I was able to talk to her. She was so nice. She was seriously the nicest, kindest person I think I've ever talked to on the phone. She was so helpful. She said, don't worry. She said, don't worry until you get them tested. And she said that we could get the raccoon tested. We could try to get Simon tested, but since he was shot in the head, it's probably going to come up inconclusive. So she said that the game commission probably would not take the raccoon because he didn't come in contact with people. She told me I could try calling the game commission, see if they would take them. I called them. The game commission guy, he was seriously a walking wiener. I mean, he was like the nastiest person I think I ever talked to. He could care less about anything. He said he wouldn't take a farm animal. He said he can't do that. He's just wildlife. And he said he would not take the raccoon because it didn't come in contact with people. So he was not helpful at all whatsoever. And he could not care less. So hubby was going to drive the head, Simon's head and the raccoon to the agricultural department. It's almost 4 hours away. So he was going to go last night, like 11 o'clock he was going to leave. But then he was like filling out all the papers and stuff. And he's like, well, it says that it needs to be dropped off by a veterinarian or a health official. So, and they don't have an after hours somebody to talk to. So I really can't talk to anybody there until 8 o'clock. So you don't want to drive 4 hours and not be able to drop anything off at all. So he's waiting until 8 o'clock. I'm going to call them as soon as they open and, make sure I can drop off Simon's head and the raccoon and see if they can also test him for listeria and polio. They can test his brain for that. That's what I read online. And I did read online that they can't test him for tetanus. So if he had tetanus, they can't test him for that. I want to ask him about that, but we need to rule things out. So I'm really praying that listeria or polio is what he had and they can actually detect that and tell me. That'll be such a weight lifted. I'm afraid though that we're going to get no results of anything. And then do we get rabies shots? I wore gloves 90% of the time I touched him. Every time I touched his mouth, I wore gloves. Hubby stuck his hands right in his mouth. I don't know why. And then Michael held him for me once while I gave him shots. So I'm afraid that if he was drooling, did he drool on Michael's leg? Because Michael's got cuts on his leg. So I really need to talk to a vet that knows about goats, that knows about rabies, because I have not been able to talk to anybody like that. I need to talk to them, be like, hey, does it sound like polio or rabies or listeria? Like, does it like, oh yeah, that is definitely what it is. That does not have rabies. Like, somebody please, somebody needs to just, I just need to hear somebody say that they know what it is. But, I mean, they didn't see the animal. I do have a lot of video of him though. So like if I can get a hold of my vet, I can send her the video. And I don't want to go really by what one person says. I want multiple people to tell me, yeah, it's this. So if I talk to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, that's listeria. And then I talk to somebody else and they say, oh yeah, that's polio. I don't think I can go by that. Because you're both telling me, oh yeah, it's definitely one of these. Well, what if it's definitely rabies? It's not something you want to mess with. So yeah, I'm sick to my stomach right now. It's just, you know, worried about Daisy. Those test results are coming in this week for Daisy to see if she has yonis. And now with this, it's just a lot right now. So anyway, we're gonna feed the cows their breakfast, and then I want to go over and look at the baby Billy goats, and I want to look at the big goats, because if he got rabies, he would have actually gotten it while he was still with the big goats, because we only moved him, it was a week and a half ago that we moved him out of that pasture. So if he got rabies, he had to have gotten it when he was up with Max and the new pups in that back pasture. So we're gonna see how everybody else is doing. The other day, me and Dan did notice the guardian dogs were like following Adrian around a lot, and we were like, what is going on that they're following her around so much? And here she had pus coming out of her chest. She had like a puncture with pus coming out of her chest. So did an animal attack her and Simon? But Simon, I could not find any wounds on him because I thought maybe he got bit by a copperhead. I could not find anything. So I did look him over looking for something, but I mean, it could have healed by now, but because it takes a couple weeks for rabies to kick in. Let's go feed the cows, and then we're gonna look around at the other animals, see how everybody's doing, make sure no one's drooling a lot. With rabies, I thought it would be a fear of water. I didn't realize it was just you can't swallow. Well, I knew they couldn't swallow, but I thought it was not being able to swallow and then fear of water. I didn't know that they could actually try to drink and just not be able to, because he was like drowning himself trying to drink. So I don't know. Yeah, we moved the cows out of this pasture over the weekend. We moved them over there again, but their food is still here. So I gotta fill up my buckets and then carry them all the way over there to feed my lovely ladies and boys. Which I do believe Daisy is feeling better, because when we moved her over there, well, we moved all of them over there, she was running through the pasture with the other cows. So that means she's feeling pretty good if she's running. Now she's still a skinny mini, just a little bone pile, but running through the pasture was amazing to see her do that. Kicking up her legs and stuff, like, it was nice to see her actually feeling good and happy. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing this morning? Good morning, Daisy. Don't you want to come eat grain? You're going to town on that grass. Everybody's looking good. Everybody's here except for Daisy eating grass. Okay, I hate that you guys are standing in that mud, but I don't know what else to do. So right here, all the water runs and it just gets muddy in here. We do want to move the fence over, but see, I even got mud on my hand. But hopefully we do that before fall. That's what we want to do. We want to move it over so then they don't have to stand in the mud. But I'm sure this is going to turn not nice too. So nice to see you guys this morning. Now we're gonna go check on the goats up on the top, see how they're acting. And then we're gonna go check on, and the dogs. Pups just had their rabies shots, the first set. So if anything attacked anybody, hopefully they're okay. But I don't see, oh, there are the puppies. But I am gonna have a little talk with the kids this morning at breakfast. And, well, actually I'm gonna talk to the boys before chores. But I'm gonna talk to the kids this morning and say, no going in any of the pastures ever until we get this straightened out. No petting any of the animals until we get this straightened out. No petting goats, no petting dogs. Just stay away from the animals. Give them their food from a distance. If anybody acts funny, run to the house and tell me. Good morning. Good morning, my handsome boys. Sorry, I don't have your food. See how we're doing over here? How are you guys doing? There's the other pup. How are we doing, ladies? You look good. Adrian, how's your boo-boo? So we squeezed it out and we put Blue Coat on it. And she's acting a lot better because she was like really hitting it with her face because the flies were at her and it was really bothering her. And that's what the good dogs noticed. They noticed there was something wrong. So yeah, thank you, puppies. Thank you for letting me know there was a problem I needed to take care of. Rocky, you look good. I don't see anything wrong with you. No drool hanging out your mouth. I wish you stopped walking away from me. Well, it looks good. Everybody looks normal. I'm sorry I don't have your food. But yeah, if these new pups didn't alert me to something was wrong with Adrian, something was off, I would have never seen it because, I mean, it was like under her chest and I would have never saw that. And it wasn't like huge, but when I squeezed on it, pus is coming out and stuff, so definitely had a problem. Good morning, noisy boys. You're being so loud. Man, there's a lot of chickens out this morning. There's one over there, two over there, and then all these chickies. What are you doing out? You're lucky something didn't eat you guys. Well, hello. Good morning. How are we doing? No excessive drooling from anyone? Good morning. Good morning. I am so proud of you guys. Yes, Daddy said you killed a raccoon. That is so good. I'm so proud of yous. You boys look good. No drooling. Yep. These look normal. So everybody over here looks good. I am very proud of Vinny and Stormy. So we had company over the weekend and we were shooting off fireworks. And the boys had forgot to turn the fence back on. So the following morning, Stormy was actually out of the fence, which Stormy and Vinny are kind of afraid of loud sounds. So hubby thought, okay, she jumped out of the fence because she was afraid of the noises and then was terrified to touch the fence and didn't come back in. She was looking for a way to get in the fence. But during the process of trying to get her back in the field, he found a dead raccoon. He said it was a young raccoon, probably out looking to hunt off on its own. But either Vinny killed it or, you know, she was chasing it around. They were both chasing around. She got out of the fence chasing it, and then he ended up finishing it off. I don't know. We'll never know exactly what happened, but I'm afraid it was a rabid raccoon, dazed and stuff. And I just feel like it'd be really hard for a dog to just catch a raccoon randomly when the raccoon knows that there's dogs in that fence. But he was young, so hopefully we can get a positive or negative test result on the raccoon. Don't stick your foot on my shirt, puppy. But hopefully we can get either negative or positive for the raccoon. Hopefully negative. I do not want inconclusive. That is the worst thing. I want either positives or negatives, so we know for sure. I do not want to get rabies shots just because we're guessing. I want to know for sure what is going on.
Later.
I've just been on the phone with the West Virginia Department of Agriculture. And a woman told me that they do not do necropsies in West Virginia. They have a contract with Maryland, and Maryland does all their necropsies. So they transferred me to, no, they didn't transfer me. I had a call. They gave me a number. I called Maryland Department of Agriculture. The woman was so mean. She did not care. She would not tell me anything over the phone. She said that it would take weeks until we got the test results back. She was very unhelpful, very mean. Oh, I ended up calling. So I called the PA, Department of Agriculture. That woman was so nice. So nice, so caring. It was a completely different experience. She gave my number to some vet. They're supposed to be calling me back. So fingers crossed they call me back soon. I don't know if I mentioned that last night. I talked to the Department of Health, and she said that it was not too late to test the Raccoon and Simon for rabies. So Dan dug Simon back up and took his head so that we could get it tested, and we took the Raccoon and we put them in a cooler with ice. So we did dig him back up. I don't know if I mentioned that before. So right now we're just waiting for another phone call. But I'm afraid we're just going to go get rabies shots and just be done with it. We will see what this phone call does. Another update. I just got off the phone with a guy. I've been calling vets all morning, all over. And I've been talking to the secretary. Not having much luck. They're like, I'll give this information to my vet and see what they say, because I just want someone that knows about goats to tell me what they think it is. And I just talked to a guy. He works with our vet, so he knows our vet, and he is coming this evening to pick up the Raccoon to get it tested. And he's gonna check out Simon's head to see if it can be tested too, because it's the chance with it being him being shot in the head, he's not gonna be able to be tested. But he says he's gonna look at it and see, because if they're gonna test him for listeria and polio, they need to check his head like they would check the brain. So he's gonna check to see if he could be tested for anything. This guy was so nice. I've talked to a lot of very unnice people, and this guy was very kind, very caring. So I'm very happy Dan does not have to drive hours away to drop it off somewhere. They're gonna come pick it up this evening. He made it sound like it's a good chance it could have been listeria, but with rabies, they have neurological problems too. So he said we will talk more about it tonight when he comes, and he has more time. So I'm gonna see if I can record any of him being here and talking to us, so then you guys can be here for the conversation and hear what he has to say too. If you go through the same thing, I want you to know what to look for if you go through this too. If your goat is drooling, put on gloves. Don't let anybody touch him. That's why the girls wanted to go on the fence. And I was like, no, you are not going in the fence. We don't know what's wrong with him. But I did not think he had rabies, because I thought rabies was a fear of water. But I'm definitely kicking myself having Michael hold him for me. And I wish I could go back in time and not have him do that. But I knew Simon was not aggressive. He had no aggression at all. But we will see what the guy says when he comes tonight. So the guy came, he stopped by, he took the Raccoon's head, and he took Simon's head too. He said that he thinks that the brain was preserved enough that they can test it. I am praying that he's right and they can test it, and I'm praying that it's a negative result. I do not want a positive, and I do not want an inconclusive. We want a negative. That is the only thing I want to hear is negative. The guy was really nice. He was very helpful, explained a lot to us. I think if it comes up positive, we're going to have to get our dogs vaccinated again, even though they have their shots. But we have to wait and see if he comes up positive first before we even start that. I did watch the video of where Michael was helping me. I didn't actually record the part where he helped me, but I recorded like after, and he was in the video, and he was wearing jeans. So that was relieving. He was wearing jeans, so he couldn't have got spit on his legs. The only place he would have got spit possibly was his hands, but he was touching Simon's horns. That's all he touched. So I don't think that Michael would have been infected with rabies. Anything is possible, but I really don't think he would have been. I touched him a couple times with my bare hands, but Dan obviously put his fingers in his mouth, which you've seen that. The guy watched the videos that I had on my phone of Simon and how he acted, and he said that he could very well have rabies. He said it could either be listeria, he thinks, or rabies. I don't think he was really keen on polio, but he said listeria and rabies. The problem is the symptoms that Simon had can be a bunch of different things. So we can't just pinpoint what he had. I did get in contact with 2 vets. I got in contact with their secretaries, and then the vets called me back, and they both were just like, I don't know. Send it away for testing and call your health professional and see what they say that you should do. I made a post on YouTube today saying that I'm taking a break because I cannot function right now. I am mentally drained. I'm sick to my stomach. I cannot function. So I made a post saying I need to take a break this week. So this video will be going up like probably 4 or 5 weeks after the incident. So by the time this goes up, everything will be done. Either we'll get the results or we'll be getting shots. Like all of that's gonna be done by the time this goes up. So yeah, this whole incident really sucks. I just want it to be over. It is currently Monday evening, and he said that we will get the test results Wednesday evening. It is going to be an extremely long 2 days. Very long 2 days. So I'm praying for these 2 days to go by quickly. I'm trying to keep my mind off of things. Reading my Bible is being comforting. That's basically all I can do right now. So I'm not going to make you guys wait for another video for the test results because I know waiting for the test results really sucks. So I will put the test results in this video. I'm hoping it's good news. I'm really hoping it's not bad news. And I'm really hoping it's not inconclusive. We're hoping for a negative. So I'm going to put the test results up now. So I just got the test results. He just called me and he told me that they both tested negative for rabies. He said that where Dan had shot Simon in the head, it was low enough that they were able to see the brainstem and do whatever they needed to do to tell that he did not have rabies. He said that I think he said he also used a black light, some kind of light to look at his brain, and he said that he had polio. So he had a thiamine deficiency, which just really sucks that he died from polio. I am so thankful. I am so thankful that they were able to do the test and that Dan shot him where he did, because if we got an inconclusive result, they would have treated us as if he did have rabies, and our farm would have probably been under quarantine and we would have all had to get rabies shots. So I'm so thankful that they were able to do the testing that they needed to do. Unfortunately, he died and he had polio. I was giving the goat shots every month. I was giving them all B-complex shots because I did not want to have to worry about polio. But the vet told me that in the summer, you don't have to give B-complex shots because they're getting what they need out of the grass and out of the weeds and stuff. So I wasn't giving them B-complex shots this summer. So I will definitely start doing that. Winter, summer, I will be giving them B-complex shots every month, every goat. So tonight we are going to give all the little billy goats and all the adult goats their B-complex shots. This is such a weight lifted off my shoulder. I seriously have been so depressed waiting for these results, afraid that we're going to have to get rabies shots. Like, if an animal gets hurt, like, I'm very upset. But when it comes to my family, I do not take that well. I'm very devastated. I don't do well when it comes to my kids because Michael would have had to get rabies shots, because I was looking back at videos and it was exactly 1 week before he got sick. 1 week prior is when we moved the billy goats into their new fence. So Michael would have been putting a halter on Simon, and he would have been touching him then, and I was giving him warmer, and I didn't have gloves on. So it would have been Dan, Michael, and me would have had to get shots, and I did not want to see Michael have to get shots, afraid of what that would do to him, because he does not do well with shots, and it affects him. So that really terrified me. But I'm just so thankful that we got the results. Thankful that we got some results. I wanted a definite answer, and thankfully we got our definite answer. So we're definitely going to learn from this experience. Whenever I'm giving shots, whenever I'm in the animals' mouths giving them warmer, I'm going to wear gloves. If I see any neurological issues at all with any of the animals, I will be definitely wearing gloves and not letting Michael hold the goats while I give them shots. I will tie him to a tree or have Dan do it, but we're definitely going to learn from this. I'm going to make sure that Dan never sticks his fingers in a sick goat's mouth ever again. And I'm never going to touch a sick animal without gloves ever again. So we'll just say this was a learning experience. We can walk away from this and say, we're okay. We're going to learn from this. We're going to move on. We're definitely going to give the goats B-complex shots every month. I am not going to stop doing that, even if it's summertime. I did put a post on YouTube about not being able to post videos this week because I was just mentally drained and unable to function. So I was not posting videos this week. And thank you for everyone for your prayers and kind words and your well wishes. It really means a lot to me that you guys are there for us and being patient, waiting for us to post another video. But I know this is going to go up like in 4 or 5 weeks. So that post is old news to you guys. But this is why I could not post videos for a week. But that is all for today, and I will see you later.